Sir, stop right there. Step back to the counter.
Is there a problem? We've already paid.
You're not going anywhere. You think I'm playing? You are currently impeding our movement without probable cause. Step aside.
We have a combative shoplifter. Code 3.
You are making a multi-million-dollar mistake, Bradley.
Julian Sterling is a senior deputy U.S. Marshal with 19 years of service, earning an annual salary of $162,000. He currently resides in a $920,000 residence in an affluent suburb of Northern Virginia, where he is known for his meticulous adherence to local ordinances and a quiet, disciplined lifestyle. On this Saturday, his only objective was the purchase of a high-end timepiece for his daughter's upcoming academic honors ceremony, a transaction totaling $4,850 plus tax. Bradley Miller, 28, has been the lead security officer at Lux Meridian for 18 months, earning $22.50 per hour. Personnel records later obtained through discovery reveal a documented pattern of unnecessarily aggressive contact with minority patrons, with 3 internal complaints filed in the last calendar year. Despite these red flags, Miller remained in his position, bolstered by a management philosophy that prioritized loss prevention at any cost over civil rights compliance. Given the discrepancy in their professional backgrounds and the immediate escalation by the security officer, do you believe the store's failure to act on Miller's prior complaints makes them 100% liable for the ensuing incident? Or should the security firm be the primary target of the litigation? Let me know your reasoning in the comments. The setting is the flagship store of Lux Meridian, located in a district that has undergone rapid gentrification over the last decade. The architecture is a blend of industrial chic and high-luxury retail, exposed brick, polished concrete floors, and ambient lighting designed to highlight 5-figure price tags. The air is filtered and scented with a proprietary blend of sandalwood and leather, creating a sensory environment of exclusivity. However, beneath the surface of this manufactured luxury lies a documented tension. The store sits on the border of a historically black working-class neighborhood and a newly developed high-income corridor. This geographical friction often manifests in the store's security protocols, which are colloquially known by locals as being disproportionately vigilant. The psychological landscape of this encounter is shaped by 2 diametrically opposed realities. Julian Sterling operates within a world of constitutional law and federal authority. He feels safe because he knows he is a law-abiding citizen with the credentials to back it up. He views the store as a public accommodation where his patronage has been earned and verified by a substantial financial transaction. Conversely, Bradley Miller perceives the environment as a territory under siege. He interprets the presence of the Sterling family not as high-value customers, but as intruders who have bypassed his mental filter of who belongs in a luxury space. His motive is territorial defense, fueled by a cognitive bias that equates the family's demographic with a quote 4 he has constructed over his tenure. 14/24/05. The escalation enters a critical phase. The store's interior PTZ camera zooms in on Miller's face, which is now flushed, a clear sign of a sympathetic nervous system quote 5 response. Quote 6. Miller shouts, pointing a finger directly at Tiana Sterling. The teenager visibly recoils, moving behind her father. Julian's stance shifts. He places his left foot forward and slightly bladed, a classic defensive posture designed to protect his center of mass while keeping his hands visible. Julian states, his tone becoming clipped and authoritative. Quote 9. Miller claims, his voice cracking slightly. Quote 10. The camera footage from the north display at 14:18:22, however, shows Tiana Sterling looking at a bracelet, pointing to it, and then moving her hands to her sides as her mother engages the sales associate. At no point do her hands enter her pockets or the shopping bag. The audio from the vestibule reveals no sounds of ruffling fabric or concealed movements. Only the steady, heavy breathing of an agitated security guard who is now committed to a false narrative. Quote 11. Julian says, his voice dropping to a near whisper, a psychological tactic used by experienced interrogators to regain control of a room. Quote 12. Miller sneers. He reaches out, attempting to grab Julian's shoulder to spin him back toward the interior of the store. This is a pivotal legal error. The moment Miller initiates physical contact without a verifiable crime having been committed, he transitions from quote 13 to quote 14, 14, 24, 45. Julian Sterling reacts with the economy of motion, typical of a federal agent. He catches Miller's wrist, not with a strike, but with a controlled grip, preventing the guard from completing the grab. Quote 15. Julian warns. Quote 16. Quote 17. Miller says, reaching for his radio. Quote 18. The use of, quote 19, is an unauthorized appropriation of police terminology, intended to frame the Sterling family as dangerous criminals to his colleagues. Within 30 seconds, 2 additional security guards arrive, their boots echoing against the polished concrete. They form a semicircle around the family, effectively trapping them in the glass vestibule. The temperature in the small area begins to rise as the 6 individuals are confined to a space of less than 100 square feet. At this point in the footage, Miller has falsely accused a minor and initiated physical contact. In your opinion, should a security guard have the legal right to detain someone based on a hunch? Or should they be required to have the same level of evidence as a sworn police officer before making a stop? Share your thoughts below. 1426. 10. The atmosphere is thick with a tension that is almost tactile. Vivian Sterling has her phone out, recording the encounter. Her hand is steady, a testament to the composure required of a woman married to a man in a high-risk profession. Tiana is silent, her eyes fixed on the floor, exhibiting signs of acute situational stress. Julian says, his voice devoid of anger, sounding more like a financial advisor delivering a grim forecast. Miller scoffs, a sharp, nasal sound. The turning point occurs at 14:28:30. A local police unit, dispatched following Miller's radio call, pulls up to the curb. Officer Peterson, a 10-year veteran of the force, enters the store. He doesn't draw his weapon, but his hand rests on his belt as he surveys the scene. 3 security guards surrounding a family that looks remarkably uncombative. Quote 22. Peterson asks, his tone indicating a weary familiarity with the security guard. Quote 23. Miller says, his chest heaving. Officer Peterson turns to Julian. Quote 24. Julian doesn't respond with a verbal defense. Instead, he reaches into his back pocket with a slow, deliberate movement that he narrates for the officer's safety. Officer, I am reaching for my credentials. I am a federal agent. He produces a gold shield and a leather ID folio. The camera captures the exact second the color drains from Bradley Miller's face. His shoulders, previously squared and aggressive, slump by several inches. His mouth hangs slightly open, the muscles of his jaw relaxing involuntarily. This is the quote 26. The moment the antagonist realizes the quote 27 he constructed has collided with a superior, legal reality. Quote 28. Julian says, his voice projecting through the store. Quote 29. Officer Peterson takes the credentials, inspects them, and sighs. He looks at Miller, then back at Julian. The legal and financial aftermath was not a swift stroke of lightning, but a slow, grinding process of institutional dismantling. The Sterling family did not settle quickly. They filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Lux Meridian and the security firm. Quote 31. Quote. During the discovery phase, it was revealed that the store manager had been watching the encounter on a live feed from the back office and failed to intervene. Later testifying that he quote 32, quote, this testimony proved fatal for the defense. The store's internal video, which Miller claimed showed Tiana stealing, was played in court. It showed nothing but a child looking at jewelry. The litigation lasted 22 months. The Sterling family's legal team, led by a high-profile civil rights attorney, meticulously documented the psychological trauma inflicted on Tiana, who required therapy for anxiety and a newly developed fear of public spaces. The total settlement reached was $6.5 million. Of this, $2 million was designated as compensatory damages for the family, while $4.5 million was awarded in punitive damages to send a message to the retail industry regarding the profiling of minority customers. The attorney fees alone totaled over $1.8 million, a cost absorbed by the store's insurance carriers, who subsequently dropped Lux Meridian as a client. Without insurance and facing a massive public relations boycott that saw their North American sales drop by 40% in a single quarter, the flagship store was forced to shutter its doors permanently 6 months after the settlement. Justice in this case took nearly 2 years to manifest. Do you think a monetary settlement is enough to rectify the psychological harm of being profiled? Or should there be mandatory prison time for security personnel who knowingly make false accusations? Disagree with each other in the comments. I want to see the arguments. Today, Julian Sterling has retired from the U.S. Marshal Service. He used a portion of the settlement to establish a non-profit organization that provides legal resources for victims of retail profiling. He lives a quiet life, though he no longer shops in high-end retail districts, preferring the anonymity of online commerce. Tiana Sterling is now in college, majoring in constitutional law. Her father says the incident at Lux Meridian defined her career path before she even graduated high school. Bradley Miller's trajectory was significantly less favorable. Following the incident, he was not only fired, but also stripped of his private security certification in 3 states. He attempted to find work in various blue-collar sectors, but the viral nature of the body cam and cell phone footage made him unhireable in any position involving public interaction. He eventually declared personal bankruptcy after being hit with a secondary civil suit from the security firm, which sought to recoup their losses by claiming he violated company policy. He currently works an overnight shift at a remote distribution warehouse, a role that requires zero contact with the public. The case of the Sterling family versus Lux Meridian remains a staple of modern legal studies and security training seminars. It serves as a clinical example of how cognitive bias, when left unchecked by corporate oversight, can lead to the total destruction of a multi-million-dollar enterprise. The footage provides a cold, analytical truth. Authority is a fragile construct when it is built on a foundation of prejudice. In the vacuum of a glass vestibule, a man with a $22 an hour badge thought he held the power of the state. He failed to realize that the man he was holding was the state itself. The camera did not take sides. It merely recorded the collapse of a false reality under the weight of evidence. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.